sometimes make life worth living, you know. The small sort of ways that every single day we turn to the people in our lives, our family and friends, and we bear witness to maybe what they're going through, and we say, hey, you know, I see what you're going through, and I'm here for you, you know. These kind of sometimes small things, sometimes big things. But also to remind myself, this song, I mean, of the legacy of protest and everything that we have to be thankful for. And everything that we have to be thankful for, and we oftentimes take for granted that once upon a time, protest achieved. Or communities get together and organize and achieve, direct action achieved, and all these things that we take for granted, you know. We take for granted that every single citizen should have the right to vote. We take for granted that women should have the right to vote. Something that had to be fought for a very, very long time. We take for granted that women should have control over their reproductive systems. Something that my country only achieved in 2018, a few years ago, and it was not until people started getting out on the streets that politicians would offer a mumbling word about the issue, you know. But as I said, I come from Ireland, and Mavis Staples and her family, the Staples singers, they used to sing before speeches during the American Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s. And I don't know if there's anybody here with any Irish heritage. But why that was of some interest to me is that civil rights movement that happened here in the 1960s, that directly inspired a civil rights movement that happened very shortly after in Northern Ireland. At a time and place in the 1960s where not every single citizen in Northern Ireland was guaranteed the right to vote. And you know, there's these small ways that we recognize the experience of other people and we show up for them. You know, we take for granted that maybe the members of the LGBTQ plus community, they should have the same rights as us and feel welcome in our society. Again, something that took a lot of protest and a lot of people recognizing the experience of their neighbors, of their brothers or sisters or siblings, you know. And we've been singing this song in solidarity with anybody who would, from a place of compassion and human witness and empathy, reach out to their representatives, asking them to support a ceasefire in the Middle East, you know. To either put their feet on the street or reach out and say, you know, no human being should have to be subject to the kind of violence we've been seeing on our TV screens over the last 9 months, you know? And it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you're from in the world, it doesn't matter how you identify, it doesn't matter if you're an Israeli citizen, if you're a Palestinian citizen, no human being should be subject to the kind of terror we've been seeing on our screens. And if you want to reach out to your representatives and asking them to support safety and security for every single person in that region. And of course, safety and security for every single person in that region would mean seeing a Palestine free from occupation and a Palestine free from violence. And I say this as an Irishman. Ireland has centuries and centuries of history of occupation, of foreign occupation and occupational violence, and the peace process that brought a lot of that violence to an end had a huge investment from the United States administration and from US citizens at the time. And so I'm the net beneficiary. I grew up in a peaceful island, and that is a huge, huge part of US citizens and the US administration getting involved in that peace process. From that same place of compassion, that same place of empathy, and saying, you know what, we would want to see better for our fellow neighbors in the world, you know. And I just want to say, if you feel moved to reach out, these things make a huge, huge difference. They're powerful. And I want to say thank you also for letting me speak from the heart, and thank you for letting me witness the kind of goodwill, the kind of solidarity I see in a crowd, people coming together, that same kind of compassion, that same kind of love on a night like this. So thank you so, so much.
It's not the weak and it's the right.